Hey everyone, today we're ranking all 28 of the killer Moris in Dead by Daylight. Let's get into it. In 28 we have Trapper. This Mori is very simple, a couple slashes with a foot down. It is what it is. It's fine. There's a missed opportunity with the lack of bear trap usage. I think that's the main complaint really. In number 27 we have Hillbilly, another very simplistic one, with a similar foot down and chainsaw into the survivor. It's made more interesting by its marginally different weapon, quite a plain and straightforward animation. In 26 we have Pig, who does a simple slash to the neck, blocked first by the survivor's hand. I do like the initial block and the small interaction, but the animation itself is very short and quite simplistic. There's also no usage of the reverse bear trap, which is a shame. In number 25 we have Wraith. Wraith has a bit more interaction with the crawl away and drag back. It's pretty brutal and gives the Mori this power dynamic. Nothing special, but a little more to it than just slapping the survivor with a weapon. I'm surprised we don't have something spine related for Wraith, what with his weapon and what he did to his boss AZHYMOVS, but hey. In 24 we have Nightmare. This one is a bit more cinematic, which is kinda cool, but a bit underwhelming for Freddy. It's very brutal though, particularly with that final shot with the claw through the back, which I believe is taken from the 2010 film. In 23 we have Twins. The twins do have two Moris. One is good, the other is kinda eh. The good one has Victor interact with the survivor and almost request permission from Charlotte to leap onto them, where he then just scratches them apart. I think that small interaction does provide something unique for the animation, even if it isn't that great otherwise. Oh! In number 22 we have Spirit. Spirit's is very character fitting, as she just thrashes her katana away at the survivor in pure rage, and slashes the survivor in the same places she too was slashed, which is a nice detail or parallel. In 21 we have Cannibal. This Mori is very gross and very brutal, with Bubba slamming a hammer over the survivor's head, before chainsawing them in half it seems. Very grisly Mori and quite character fitting, staying in line with the Bubba we see in the films. In 20 we have Huntress. In this Mori, Huntress swings her axe down right onto the survivor's head, and then just repeatedly slams it into their chest. This rage-filled attack feels in line with her tantrums, and seems in line with the brutality we see in her lore cutscenes. In 19 we have Doctor. This Mori is really disturbing, having Doctor shock the survivor, overwhelming them with electricity before turning them over, with this smoke rising out of their head. It's a different approach to the usual weapon, and fitting for Doctor. In 18 we have Blight. This Mori has Blight stab a syringe into the survivor, expanding into these big orange pustules, that the Blight then finally pops. Very gross, but very fitting for Blight. The incorporation of the vials making for a gross and creepy visual. In 17 we have Shape. This is one of these scarier moris, where the survivor is yanked up, forced to stare into Maya's empty eyes as he stabs them. It makes you feel small and inferior in comparison to him, and I find it genuinely creepy. In 16 we have Nurse. Nurse gets this spot solely because her Mori is just different from the others, with this strangely intimate moment with the survivor, seeming almost caring. The closing of the eyes gives the whole thing this really uncomfortable and eerie end. In number 15 we have Nemesis. This one has use of the tentacle, with a shift into just straight up using the boot to finish the kill. It seems fitting for a powerful bioweapon to be so efficient, unlike he is in Resident Evil 3. The stomp is brutal and incredibly gross. In number 14 we have Executioner. This one is very dramatic, with the cinematic style to it, as the survivor is lifted then pierced with the oversized knife. I do like the metal and barbed wire that comes to wrap the survivor up, giving the Mori a visual distinctness. In number 13 we have Plague. In this Mori the survivor is drowned in vomit, before being hit away, and a small chant being said. Visually unique and quite character fitting, particularly with the words spoken, giving it all an unsettling end. In number 12 we have Demogorgon. This one is very animalistic, and so fitting for demo. It pins the survivor down, and then swings the head around inside of its mouth, with the survivor's screams becoming muffled as they get absorbed by it. Grisly but fitting. In number 11 we have another brutal one, with Oni. Oni utilizes everything in his arsenal to attack the survivor, before finally crushing the survivor's tongue, like he did to the lord who desecrated his name. Very character fitting, and visually, one of the most unpleasant Moris to watch. In number 10 we have Artist. This Mori is really grim, as the artist plants one of her crows in the survivor's belly, and it bursts out. The whole thing is disturbing, from the initial leap and planting of the crow, to when it leaves and bursts from their bodies. In number 9 we have Clown. Clown's Mori is one of the most horrible, with its grim sounds in it, like him slurping on the severed finger, and the crack as he slams a foot down on the survivor's head. The finger being added to his collection also gives this very creepy perspective on the whole thing. There are also two versions of this Mori, one where he cuts off the pinky, and alternately the index. In number 8 we have Onryō. This Mori is another very uncomfortable one, as the survivor is lifted up and their limbs are snapped and cracked, with just a few tilts of Sadako's head. This is another Mori with one of those distinct power dynamics, ending with a creepy shot of her eye. In number 7 we have Trickster. Trickster peppers the survivors with knives, throwing one initial knife into the air that later lands on the survivor when he throws down his autograph photo. Very character fitting, with a lot of visual flair. In number 6 we have Deathslinger. This one has a good incorporation of the spear gun, with the whole Mori having an execution style to it, which is quite fitting for Slinger, and the brutality he is known for in his lore. In number 5 we have Legion. This Mori has an interesting power struggle between the Legion and the survivor. The Legion are basically normal and powerless people, just they have a knife and the survivors don't, resulting in this brutal Mori where there is a genuine struggle and fight between them. This Mori is extremely brutal and one of the more creepily grounded ones. In number 4 we have the Dredge. This one I like quite a lot, with all the different arms and claws reaching down and stabbing, before the survivor is gripped and slowly consumed into the body of fog. Very creepy, and it's got some interesting visuals, like the screwdriver coming down, and an eeriness as the survivor is consumed into the body mass, almost like they are joining it. In number 3 we have Ghostface. Ghostface's Mori is the most unique and is great for screenshots. It's very in line with his character and lore, and adds a bunch of personality to the character too, despite never seeing the emotion or expression beneath that mask. It's a good pairing for brutality and this creepy, almost jokey nature it has to it. In number 2 we have Hag. Hag's Mori is still the most brutal, horrible thing to view out of all the Moris. Like the Legion's Mori, there is also some resistance here from the survivor, and a bit more of a struggle, which gives it this whole extra disturbing layer, making it pretty horrible to view. The use of her claws and the way they tear into the survivor body is just so gross. In number 1 is Cenobite. I still think this is the best Mori, with some of the most impressive visuals, paired with the creepy undertones of the survivor descending into the ground. The chains coming in and distorting the skin to then be wrapped around a pillar and absorbed by a portal is extremely disturbing, I find. And although this isn't a conventional Mori, it does the job that the Moris are kind of meant to, creating a brutal end for a survivor. Alright, well, that's gonna do it. I do hope you enjoyed, and be sure to drop your own list down below. Thanks, and goodbye.